Hello and welcome back to Tectonica. I was just kind of scanning around, looking for stuff to tidy up, and I wandered back to 13. And what did I find here? Found these. Now, these are crushers. Very important. It opens up a whole ton of recipes once we start making them. Most importantly for us, there are recipes for making, for purifying the diesel that we've been making, which will significantly reduce the amount of material we need to move to fuel stuff. And these are smelter 3s, which always come in handy. Well, I'm going to continue scouting around here real quick with the recording going. I've already picked up one sand pump that was poking up, actually two sand pumps that were poking up above the sand there. We haven't dug out much of this. There's been no notifications yet. But you just, you take the occasional spin around, especially since now we can hover at whatever altitude we want. Don't forget, if it seems like you're moving slow, tap the space key and see if you were walking instead of running. There's all sorts of little things. Now, these guys, I expected there was something going on with them. They don't scan, and you can, in fact, walk right through them. So, a little disappointed there, but they are neat scenery. So we need to dig a little deeper and to pump a little more sand out of this before we actually see anything new. Back here is, yeah. So now we have scanned the crushers, and we actually have some crushers on us. Oh, there's a... So we can upgrade our accumulation. But we will be able to. I believe we have already unlocked everything that's allowed by our upgrade levels, Sierra. We still need to upgrade Sierra before we can do anything significant. But it was kind of cool to get the crushers going like that. So there's the pure diesel. You can also rework your farms so you're taking the grown plants and you just put them in a crusher, and you get out the seeds and the extract and something else. I think it might even be plant matter bricks. Let's see, how many of those do we now have? There, we got 10 of them. So I'm gonna go, oh, there, even put it on button number 2 on bar number 3. So if I head back to Foundry, we have all this complicated stuff for making the extracts. And I think if I put one of these down,
Crusher deconstructs products into intermediates. Processes sesamite crystals into bursts of energy compatible with accumulator storage.
so if I put a Shiverthorn in there, actually if I just mouse over Shiverthorn, I don't actually know any recipes for the crusher yet, so we can't do anything with it quite yet. Is anything visible? So here's where we learn how to make crushers. So it may be a while yet before we can use the crusher for anything significant. So accumulation 5, we've scanned that now. So BioBrick diesel, we want diesel infusion, diesel refinement, and diesel recycling. When you refine, you get pure and impure. We've got unrefined now. Refine that, you get pure and impure. They're both good, but if you get recycling, you can take the impure and feed it back into the system so that your factory only turns out pure, which is what we want to do. So we will be waiting until we get through T4 of Sierra before starting to do pure diesel. Let's see. Mass processing of Kindlevine and Shiverthorn. I think these are the crusher-based Kindlevine and Shiverthorn, so it'll be a while. Okay, so we're not going to start reworking our farms quite yet. Anyway, just thought I'd show you that. We have accumulated some seeds. That's good. We could build more farms if we need to. I did. Let's take a look at what I did here from the other side first. So started out at Victor. So at Victor, we were making explosive charges, and I said, well, send half of them to 12 and half to 6. It used to be we just sent them to 6. Now we send them to 6 and 12. And over on Sierra, you look around back, see our explosives, which I've arranged so we can scale this up as we want. We're all set up for that. Comes out here and heads over this way, where all of these blast drills are chipping away at this carbon. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Is that right? 5, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2. We've got 14 of them, so we get 28 brick per minute, which is all coming back here. I've scaled this, well, not scaled it, I've set it up at the elevator end so we could add a lot more if we wanted to. That's going down to 9. Now on foundry level, I'm grabbing it all and putting it in a box, and we actually accumulated quite a lot of it. Taking it out here, and I figured I would start making some frames. Now I had to bring some copper frames and steel frames to make it work, and it's built a bunch of them. It's not using up the carbon as fast as we're making it. That's okay. And we are sending these over here to be used in making the sensor blocks, which are critical to our future. And those are being used only in making smelters. I have picked up some and putting them in my inventory. We're going to hold on to those. Now this makes smelter Mark 3s. We need Mark 2s, and that we just dump them in. We're going to grab the 3s. We've got some ready to go. This is really slow, and it depends on getting a lot of these blocks, and these are really slow. They depend on getting glass. And for glass, I'm just doing this. Now, currently, it is using up half of the Shiverthorn sand that's coming in just to make glass. We're going to leave it small scale until we go further. Like I said, we're going to need 36 pumps on one of the levels coming up. And when we do that, obviously we're going to go from these guys out more. But with 36 pumps, we can make more glass, which means we can make more of these parts, which means we can make more of these. Also, the sensor blocks are used in a lot of things. Not a lot of things. They're used in a few things in the end game that we need a lot of. I just realized I probably have enough stuff that I can upgrade Sierra. Let's go hit Sierra, see if we can upgrade it. But for reference, flying across Sierra, we're hitting 54 frames a second, so we're still healthy. I've got my frame rate limited to 60, so I don't really worry too much about it. So we're going to need scrap ore and crushers. Well, we've got crushers.
Crusher and scrap ore processing technologies available.
Activate that crank again to top up our power. Now, eventually, when we start using the crushers at our dig sites, so you take in the sand, you crush the sand immediately, that releases enough energy so that you just have to have some accumulators in circuit and it can run everything. We will set that up and get that going. We'll actually end up with most of our pump stacks will be self-contained. You know, they will take in fuel, but they will take care of recycling all of the sand and all of that because we'll have more sand than we can deal with otherwise. So, what did we open up? Terraforming. This says we can take sand and sesamite powder and turn it back into sesamite sand. Meaningless. So, make crushers. Scrap separation. We'll take scrap ore. Oops. That takes condensed scrap ore and turns it into limestone and scrap ore. And then we can take limestone and scrap ore and turn it into condensed. Okay. We can also take compression of scrap ore and shiverthorn extract to generate various metals. Anyway, this allows us to make gold. We're just going to unlock what we can. We haven't scanned this. We can see on the left that we're going to scan this on level 13. Our accumulators just got better. Yeah. How much science? We have 104 left. Let's do those. So we still have a few things that we can wait for green science on. Rapid cement. So this allows us to use a crusher to make more cement from sand and quicklime. Normal cement is quicklime and it's concrete and gravel. This is actually a better recipe. But you'll notice how much cement I've used. None.
Task inbound. Scrap washing. Combine scrap ore with shiverthorn extract in crusher to extract gold ore for gold-based production cycles.
You know what I want to
Inbound. Diesel infusion.
wait.
Manufacture and crush diesel infusion packs to separate pure and impure fuel variations. Recycling encouraged.
Okay, so I need to get some scrap metal going. So I want to find scrap metal that is close to the surface if I can. It's likely we will have to go lower to get scrap metal. We did have a really big scrap metal down there. Let's see. Scrap metal, scrap ore. Some that way. See if this is easier to get to than the one that's around back. I don't think that's going to be easier to get to. some over there. Oh. Well, that looks like it's going to be easy to get to. Oh, that's the stuff we know about, I think. Yeah, that's the one we've already dug out. So that's the one we're going to go use. So what I want to do is I want to take power and explosives down there, and I'm going to apply some electrical powered drills and some explosive powered drills. Fortunately, we do have explosives. Come over. How about I take it over here? Okay, there's that. And let's grab our vertical pillars. I'm actually going to dig this down so I can put a flooring on that. Rather than put my floor in the natural spot, I'm going to have the floor dictated by the vertical pillar. Funnel, 12 by 12, this level. Oh, yeah, that's the correct level. And I'm going to dig out just a little bit of space here. I'm going to come across on this guy. See, that is on the edge. Let's see, we need fuel coming like this. Explosives are fuel. Now we do this again. And I'm going to dictate my floor level by what puts me underneath pillar. So we will be doing a raised floor for that. On. Here's our working floor. I am not going to bother putting drills in there. We have our drill stack area. I am looking for the total extent of this patch. And it is Humongous. There's two things I want to put on this. I want to be using blast drills and I want to be using regular drills. Let's see, what level do I want this to be on? They're going to be kind of next to each other. I think kind of on this level. I should be using the 3x3s. Yeah, I should have used 3x3s instead of 5x5s, but that'll do. We'll do the 3x3s out like this, and I'm going to figure out what our altitude is going to be. I think that gets me. Yeah, that's the right altitude. I am not sure how many of these spaces we're going to be activating, but just in case, we'll set the floor up. So first of all, we don't want to be using mining drills. We want to be using mining drill 2s, which use power. We want to use blast drills. Blast drills I'm going to do first. Four, 6, 7. I could move those over one. Okay. Now we need a subfloor that goes underneath this so I can get out properly. How is that not? Let's use the 5x5. Want to have a little bit of border. think I'm actually digging this one lower than I did before, but that's all right. I don't mind if this stands free of the ground a little bit. It's all going to be underneath anyway. Out here. Okay, so our explosives need to come in like this. Need to leave room for the output. It's going to come back this way. Blast drills do not turn out high quantities, so we're good. So we're putting 15 per minute in. These are going to turn out 2 each, so it's going to be like 28 of whatever it is I get when I blast these guys. And now we need the fuel to come in and hit these guys. We also need these to come out. I'm going to do... take this. There's our output. I'm going to send the output up of this. I'm going to come out a little bit further. Here we're going to R dot here come R. No, we're not. Okay, so there is our goodie return. Fuel is going to come down here, so I'm just do this. Oh, why not? I can do it from this direction. To have it inside there, so here, turn, vertical here. Boom, 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 boom. You hear them all triggering off as their first explosive charges get to them. Now these are condensed scrap ore. That's good. Other thing I want to do is mine these with the other miner. Four, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, how about 13? And I need some more room. Don't need a lot of room, just need some. Okay, that wasn't enough room. These guys output at 38 per minute each. Going to be ultra cheap. I don't know whether I'm going to need the compressed or the normal. So we'll take some of both. Won't have to convert back and forth. Okay, and I think how am I going to do this so I get at least one hub merging stuff? I don't need to. Okay, and this is going to go up on top of these guys. We're going to bring it over next to them. So there's our belt full of scrap ore. Gonna take this in at the same level. This is going to feed into two of them. For now, I'm going to send it to 9. Don't know what I'm going to do with them. 9 is where I've got all the space. And you are going to go right next to you. There are. You kind of cover up my stairway, didn't I? Oh well. So now on floor 9, we need to arrange to trap both of those things. Back filter inserters. You are going to be pulling in scrap ore into a box. You are going to be pulling in the condensed scrap ore into a box. What do you are going to do next? But I do need 100 scrap ore to upgrade Sierra. We're there. And I already have 2 crushers that I looted. So let's go upgrade Sierra again. This is good because this is the upgrade where if we wanted to, we could start fiddling around with pure diesel. Because it gives us the tech that allows us to do the recycling. The next level, we need condensed scrap ore. Oh, hold on. That's easy.
New technologies available.
I'm just going to go get those unlocks done. Condensed scrap ore, we're putting in a box. Dustamite powder, we're putting in a box. That's all on Foundry. So condensed scrap ore, already have quite a lot of it. Sesamite powder, we've been saving some off here. So back to Sierra. Touch these on the way through. Why is my power dead? Well, apparently I am drawing 28 megawatts from my 22 kilowatt generator setup. Well, that's okay. Everybody's still running. What are we powering? Oh, it's these guys. Okay, I'm going to have to turn off those.
Terminal upgraded.
Okay, gold ore and platters.
Planter technologies available.
So let's go decommission most of our powered mining drills down there. Thing is, I could send fuel down there, this kind of fuel, and we could run fueled drills if we really need it. I'm not sure what we need the scrap ore for. Tell you what, I will leave one going, and we'll see what the power looks like with just one. Oh, that's so much better. So these are 2 megawatts each. So if we need more, we can just drop them in place. Or we can wait. Now, if we get recipes where we're going to need like 1,000 of them, we're going to need a huge amount of scrap ore. We can do that. Also, I think we can turn the condensed scrap ore into scrap ore if we need to. That may be another alternative. Okay. These are already charging up fast. So that's the reason why I put a whole bunch of these crank generators in. But when we do overload ourselves like that, it isn't immediately fatal. So we need to wait for more green science. What have we got that we just unlocked? Rapid sesamite sand mixing. Mining drill speed, which will come in handy when we can afford it. It's kind of expensive. Sesamite sand mixing. Synthesis, we picked up. Growing sesamite, just like we grow anything else, we will have to synthesize the sesamite seeds. Relay circuit slow. Oh, scrap ore and gold ingots. I think. I'll have to take a look at the recipes on that. That may be a way for us to get some relay circuits going. Rapid slab processing. So slabs to ingots looks like. Bioextraction. Enables filtration of biological materials from scrap ore, compression of surplus materials. Okay. We're still not sure which ones of these we're going to want. I'm going to ignore the monorail stuff for the moment. We still need to scan this. It's somewhere on 13. We'll eventually scan HP Glide 3. These are also on 13, so there's a bunch of stuff to scan on 13. Sesamite crystals are, I think, equivalent. No, not the equivalent of ingots. They're cool. So BioBrick recycle. Okay, so diesel recycles this. This will enable us to do the complete diesel loop. Mass processing Kindlevine, which does Kindlevine into seed, plant matter bricks, and extract. Okay, there's where we get a small trickle of plant matter bricks that we need. And same thing for Shiverthorn. And in construction, all these are green. Yeah, they are. We're going to need to wait for some more green. So while we are digging, I'm going to do one more quick scan around in this level. I think we've been across this trench before. It was already dug out. Oh, looky here. HP Glide 3. Sorts of little byways in here. We will eventually use our Omni scanner to find all of the scannables. Now we're just looking through. Going down. Pull back here. Something in here. Oh, this is a place for a mining drill, which we're not going to need because we already have our stack of 6 going. Be very important, though, if you didn't know that you could mount the drills on top of each other. So there's this thingy over here. It looks kind of like a freight elevator, something. It's going to lift something down. Be interesting to see what's under there. And here we have carbon. I'm not going to start harvesting this carbon yet. I won't need it unless I need large quantities. And if the sand returns to this level, it will cover up this fairly quickly. So we would prefer to keep Sierra pumped out than to keep this level pumped out. Once we've explored this level and gotten everything out of it, I will remove the pumps from here. We don't want to spend the effort to have 3 pumps keeping this guy empty. Instead, we'll put those 3 pumps on another level where they can produce the same amount of sand and help us make progress. Well, it's a good sized chunk. What's the Echo Sketch map look like at this point? There's our chunk of carbon. Big circular area. We've got our belts. So how are we doing on the drilling here? So we're down to 107,000 megaliters to go. I could add more pumps up here. Yeah, why not? How many more pumps do we have? 6 more? Yeah, I could put them in place. We're not set up to handle that much sesamite, though. But maybe I won't. But we can always drill off the top. Just to show how we might do this. So that gives us a whole lot of space up here. So the question would be, how do we take our sesamite out and get it all the way back? We would have to maybe bring it down this side and set up a different belt for it, yes. Or we would bring it down this side and feed it into crushers and do crusher things with it. That might be cool to experiment with. Yeah, let's do that while we're just kind of noodling around, waiting for stuff to happen. And I'm going to give myself extra big little cavern over here, extra big cavern, extra big working area on this side. Now, I'm curious. Let's take a look at what actually happens if we put a crusher down and put some sesamite sand into it. You don't actually have to put the sesamite sand in to see this. Because as I mouse over things, it shows all the recipes that would include that. Now notice with the scrap ore, if you just put scrap ore in, it gives you one set of things. You put it in with something else, it gives you something else. So you need to make sure when you are inserting things into a crusher for a recipe that, for instance, here we need to make sure there was always sugarthorn extract before we put this in if we wanted to get that row going. We are looking for the sugarthorn, or excuse me, the sesamite sand, though. Looks like I got rid of all of my sesamite sand. Here's some. So 25 sesamite sand turns into sesamite powder and sand plus energy. There's our ratios. I'm going to write those down real quick. Uh, 25, 250. And becomes 10 sesamite powder and 550 sand and notice that number at the bottom, the amount of energy it's producing. Each tick it goes up. I think that if you leave one of these doing the same thing over and over again, it produces energy, and I mean a lot of energy. The other ratios are staying the same. So the next thing is, if I grab these, there's actually a loop in the crusher that you can do. Looking for sand and the sesamite powder that I just picked up. Apparently, I don't know those recipes yet. But this means that I can take the sesamite that comes down at 250 per minute. Okay, so for 6 of those, well, 250, 2 of these would handle 5 pumps, so we'd do 3 of them. And it would have some outputs that we would need to collect. Let's do that. I think this will actually use all the rest of the sand pumps. Yeah, it uses all the sand pumps that we have on hand. That look right. And we need to go up further. at some point you hit the absolute top of the whole place. I don't remember doing that in this zone because I never went tall in this zone. But in the zone where you need the most pumps, I tried to do some very tall stacks and I actually found the ceiling. You can also find the ceiling by looking for the falling sand and going up the chimneys. And that'll give you a notion of how tall your level is. There we go. So fuel. I need to run this guy up for fuel. Because now when we go to using the pure diesel, we will be able to build these stacks with unpowered inserters for the fuel. Actually isn't as important as it sounds. That I'm going to work from the top down. And it's easier for me to go down in a controlled way than up. Then we're going to go back down to the bottom and rebuild our fuel. Because it's all just one big thing.
Pump fuel on archive level exhausted.
Yeah.
Ambient sand elevation rising.
Yeah. All done. And we need output to come out here. What I'm going to do for here is I'm going to just do each one on its own. That. I'm going to come down a little bit and do the next one. And all of these are backwards. Well, not all of them. Just yes, all of them. And this one is getting drained from that side. Now we need to bring our 6 out to the right. Do it from this end, and again I will do it top one, bottom one. Not enough Mark III belts. We'll get some Mark III belts. I knew that was going to happen. The Mark III belts are coming out over here. Grab them all. I just grabbed what I thought I grabbed. Got a lot of Mark I belts here that I don't need. That's because I went around and I upgraded a lot of stuff in here, Mark III. I'm coming up with a lot of Mark III stuff, so we're going to use it. Back to archive. So it just strikes me that putting in place what I'm doing now could very well make this level my supplier for power. Okay, back up above. Okay, so we got 6 belts. 6 belts into 3 of these, that's easy. Doing a stack filter inserter, and we're putting in those guys. And we need stack filters taking out 2 things. Sesamite powder and normal sand. And the quantities here are very low. What I'm going to do is take this, that, almost fooled myself. Those are just going to go in some boxes. Bring it all the way back here. Another one. Back to here. So in the future, we'll be able to put the sand and the sesamite back into Crusher, and it will give us back a small amount of sesamite sand. Okay, so this becomes a whole feedback thing. So each one of these is sending us 100 per, and this fills up, it does it. Now, there is some evidence that a crusher that is not running, but has stuff in it, contributes significantly to lag. These will catch up. They're doing 250, they're 200. And tail those in so we know that's supposed to be the end of the bus. So these will run when the stuff in the inventory is enough to make a recipe, and when the output from the recipe will fit in the completed area. That's not important really for these recipes, but later on we'll have recipes where the output of a run literally can't make 2 runs in a row. It's more than half of what you can have. So at that point, the throughput of the machine is based on how fast can you remove the 500 whatever from it. And I think that might be the one that makes 500 sesamite sand. So you have to watch that. There's some recipes that will not run at top speed. So at this point, we are now generating tons of electricity. These are using 12 megawatts. They're also producing 440 megajoules per minute. This would be 44 megajoules per time through. We're running at 97x, so there's a multiplier that accumulates as the machines run over again. And this will charge up our accumulators, even if our hand cranks are off. We're still only getting 600 sesamite per minute because the other 600 sesamite is being used to make power. This is fine. Now later on, I didn't look at budgets here. I think we'll have to see what happens when we run out of sand on this level. We may have to generate our power on whatever level we are currently clearing, or on a level that has enough background stuff coming in. But this, let's see, this is basically 2.5 machines, so 250. But basically, we'll have enough sand being poured into this level to keep one of these crushers happy. Now this says, on the left, it says 44,000 kilojoules. And on the right, it says 440, that's the rate, it says 440 megajoules per minute. Which means that claims this is going 10 times a minute. Well, that makes sense because it's doing 25, it says 250. So normally it's 450 kilojoules. Our multiplier maxes out at 97x. So 44 megajoules is 44 megawatts for 1 second. Don't you wish we are on decimal time? So we go back to here. Let's go back to Sierra. And what we really want to do is come back here in half an hour, and we want to watch and see if that's enough to keep these guys all charged up. Now, I have seen us in situations where the accumulator charge top number was bigger than the bottom number, and I don't know how that could happen. But I've seen it work like that. Now, that might be because I had several different accumulator banks that weren't connected to each other, and it maybe the top number is all of the charge everywhere, and the bottom number is the charge capacity of the current network. Who knows? So kilowatt is a kilojoule per second. Let's do the math. They say it was 44 megajoules for each one of those. Calculator. So 44. Clear. So 44,000 kilowatts, kilojoules. No, it's 440 megajoules per minute. Okay, that many megajoules per minute, divided by 60 is 7,333 kilojoules per second, or 7,333 kilowatts. So we're turning out about 7 megawatts, which is not enough to keep production going. Of course, if we dust 8 megawatts, or so we only run one of our crushers, okay, that would do it. Now, we're actually producing 3 times that right now, then derated a little bit because we're only running them at 200 out of 250, so we're 80%. So we should be turning out 17.6 megawatts from our crushers. And that is more than we are consuming, not by a lot. It's this guy that's really the problem. Anyway, we will be juggling back and forth how many crushers we use to generate electricity. So back here on barracks, we have been accumulating all of this good stuff. A crusher can crush this stuff to neat stuff. I can crush to gold. We're over time. I will explore the crushers later. I'm going to let this run for a while and accumulate more science. And we have a lot of seeds. We'll accumulate a lot more seeds. Mainly we want to accumulate science because we are doing that. We will let the next level rain a bit, and we'll come back when we either have a lot of science unlocked and want to do something new, or when we get an alert that there's something we need to triangulate there in 13. So I will see you when we're ready to do that.